What's good in the hood, YouTube? This is Crazy Samurai 71 here, bringing you another video. Today I wanted to bring you a video for the Powerpuff Girls 2016 reboot TV show that's going on now, and it's for episode 6 today, which is very cool. So today's episode was a good one. It is called Horn, Sweet Horn. Interesting title. And obviously one that you would be very curious about, I'm sure. So the episode starts off with the girls as well as the kids in the school going to a zoo. And at the zoo, at first they have this guy who's like supposed to be like their tour guide or whatever on their field trip, and he ends up being eaten by a snake and ends up talking to them about, and this is why you don't kiss snakes, girls. I mean, snakes, kids. And then and as the guy leaves with the snake inside of him, he ends up saying, "Someone call for help," because yeah, that's a thing. So that all happens, and the thing is that then Bubbles comes out and she says, their teacher asks, like, so what do you kids want to see next? And then she comes out and she says, "Oh, I want to see the unicorns." And all the kids make fun of her and say, like, "There's no such thing as unicorns, Bubbles. It's not a real thing." And like Buttercup is up front and like, just like, she's doing this again. Well, like Blossom is, more, calm down, Buttercup. Don't be so uptight that way. You know how she is. But at the same time, no one believes it. And then she even has this like kazoo that she has that was supposed to be a thing to summon unicorns, whatever. And the thing is that no one believes it. And there's this kid that says like, no one believes that, but people believe in like Bigfoot or whatever. So yeah, that all happens. But then as Bubbles is like walking away and upset and everything like that, she ends up confronting this horse that comes out of nowhere. And she looks at it and she thinks, "Oh my god, it's a unicorn." So she sees it and she gives it a hug, and she's happy to see it, and she refers to it as a unicorn. She originally was going to call it Pointy, and the thing is that then Buttercup and Blossom come out and they're like, "What are you doing, Bubbles? We have to join the rest of the group." And the thing is that she ends up explaining that like she found this unicorn or whatever, and the others are like, "No, that's that's just a regular horse." And then like they end up comparing different types of horses or whatever, like the different age groups or whatever, like a Billy and or something like that, and some other things. And the thing is that suddenly when they're doing that, they see a little horn on it because like it looks like there's a horn on it. But the thing is, and that's the reason why she says that, because it looks like a unicorn. And the thing is that really it's not. It's just some like dirt or whatever. And suddenly, and that's because Buttercup like knocks it off and it looks like a regular horse then. But then the horse begins to speak, and he ends up saying his name is Donnie, and he says that he believes he is a unicorn and all that, even though he knows he's not, or at least he thinks he's not. So the thing is that then he ends up. He wants to do what Bubbles says, and he ends up becoming like really good friends with her, and like knowing that she wants the same thing as he wants, which is he wants to be a unicorn, and she wants to see and know that there is a unicorn, because she wants to prove to everyone else that made fun of her that they really do exist and that everyone was wrong, which is an understood statement. So all that happened. So then following this, they realize, well, the only thing we can do is maybe go and talk to the professor and see if he can do anything. So they end up bringing Donnie to the professor, and the thing is that the professor says, "Okay, well, I could do this, but are you sure, Donnie? And are you sure, Bubbles?" And like Bubbles is like, "Yes, absolutely, I need it." And Donnie's like, "Yeah, absolutely." And Bubbles says it's cool too. So you know what? Yeah. And he acts like he acts like "Oh yeah, what's up, dude? Like, how's it going? Cool. Like you're my best friend. All that kind of stuff." And the thing is that like he ends up saying, "Well, all right, but like I'm gonna show you all the possible conditions that you may feel afterwards," and the guy, and it stacks up super high, and you see paper going up, and he's like, "Oh well, I skipped over everything," and and then he just like does his hoof print, basically signing it. And yeah, but the thing is that the very end it says always in pain, and I'm just like, that's about right. It's about right. Pretty much expected there. So yeah. So then what happens is they end up using this device, which is called the magnifier device, which I think has had some other adaptation, some other movie or TV show, because I've heard that name. It's something like that. Anyway, definitely familiar, but I don't think they're connected. If you're thinking like, oh, because they said that it's the same. No, I doubt it. Anyway, they use the device, which basically is meant to turn him into a unicorn. But the thing is that at first, it gives him like bunny ears. Then he's like, oh, I'm starting to feel something. And then suddenly his teeth grow really long. And then he looks down and he's like, oh my god, what's going on? So then he begins to run, and he begins to turn into a much bigger and thicker bodied horse. And the thing is that he ends up, going through the town. And right before he goes through the town, we see, what do you call it? The mayor is leading his own tour of his own museum, which is the Pickle Museum, because as many people know from the original show, the mayor is pretty much in love with pickles. Like, that's his thing. He loves pickles more than life, basically. So he has his own museum where he has priceless pickles made of glass, regular pickles in the shape of presidents, pickles made out of toothpicks, pickles made that he actually used, all that kind of stuff. And he has all pickle pictures and pickle this and pickle that. And so, he's a bit nuts about pickles. If you've ever known him in the past, this really shows it in the fullest of ways. So then what happens is we see Donnie going through the town. He ends up traveling through it, and he ends up even the fur on him ends up being torn off, and he turns all red and monstrous looking, and he ends up getting really big and ends up crashing into the Pickle Museum. Everyone runs in fear except for the mayor, and the mayor is actually picked up by him. So then Bubbles wants him to stop, of course, and he's like, no, you did this to me, this is not right. But at the same time, it's like, you were my friend, but now I can't forgive you, you're not my friend anymore. And she's upset and all that. And the thing is, he ends up scaling the Pickle Museum, sort of like King Kong in a way, because he's trying to reach up for the top near the pickle and all that. It's similar to that in a way, although there's no planes going over like King Kong, but it is similar in the senses of scaling up with someone in his hand. So that all happens, and the thing is that Bubbles ends up having to go up and try to stop him, because the other girls want to basically take him out, but she's like, let me just talk to him, let me just try to make him feel better and all that. And so they end up going up, they end up confronting each other, and he ends up whacking her at one point, and she ends up going unconscious, and he ends up smashing her kazoo, which is the kazoo to summon the unicorns and everything like that. And the thing is that after he smashes it, he feels really bad, and suddenly he ends up falling over, and at the same time he ends up losing grip on the mayor, and the mayor ends up falling over. But the thing is that for him, he has a pickle parachute, so he's okay. So that all happens, but then what happens is that Donnie is lifted up suddenly, because at first they think, oh, Donnie's dead, because Bubbles ends up waking up wondering what happened to him, and suddenly he ends up flying up after she awakens, and suddenly he goes from that monstrous appearance to more of to return to his normal appearance, the one that we had seen in the past. And suddenly we see that there are unicorns around him, and Bubbles is like, oh my god, it's amazing, and she ends up freaking out over it. It's like, I can't believe this. And so the thing is that she suddenly sees these unicorns or whatever, and what happens is that he ends up questioning how things are and all that, and they say that they're part of the unicorn Brigade Alliance, which sounds fake, but they say it's completely real, although it sounds fake. And the thing is that all that's happening, and then what happens is that suddenly Donnie is like, I'm sorry, Bubbles, and all that, and then suddenly his mother appears with these unicorns, and he's like, why, Mom, why are you with them? And the thing is, why are you with these unicorns? And his mother says, well, Donnie, understand this now. we've like Bubbles even has been referring to as a unicorn, and the thing is that Donnie, you are a unicorn. Like, that is a real fact, and she even shows, because like her hair looks like a regular horse, but the thing is that she just uses her hoof, like pulls her hair back, and then suddenly you see a horn appear, and then he's like, and you know what? If you ever cut your hair, son, you would actually see that you're a unicorn too. And suddenly she ends up pulling his hair back, and you see a small horn, which looks like I mean, Buttercup basically refers to it as like a zit or a pimple or something like that. And yeah, that's about right. It looks like a gigantic like zit, because it's not like thin and pointy. It looks like thick, and yeah, I don't want, yeah, you get my point. So, but anyway, the thing is that it's all good, and me wondering, why did they come in the first place? Well, because when Bubbles blew her kazoo, that technically really signaled for them to come. So that all happened, and the thing is that then they all, are happy and joyful, and then Donnie gives Bubbles a special kazoo that's like all decked out and beautiful, and says, you know what, you can call me anytime, just use that, or you can text me, do anything like that, and I'll be there. And she says, oh, I'm gonna call you all the time, I'm so happy now. And so it's Bubbles' attitudes, Bubbles' expressions, really sweet. Overall, just a nice episode. Definitely, as you can tell, obviously big emphasis on Bubbles. We still haven't really had an episode focused on Blossom. I will note that, which is interesting to me. We still haven't really had an episode that was specifically focused on on Blossom. We've had plenty of episodes for Buttercup, like I think 2 episodes. Like we had the first 4 episodes. I kind of want to say, well, actually 3 of them have been focused on Bubbles, and 3 of them have been focused on Buttercup, I feel, in some ways. Sort of. That's about right. Blossom really hasn't had an episode yet, so I really hope that in the near future they do something. Probably next week when the next couple episodes show, because there won't be another episode until next week. But please, I would love to know in the comments below, what did you guys think of today's episode? Did you enjoy it, or was it okay? Tell me all that below, and I would love to know. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, guys, I'm Crazy Samurai 71, and goodbye.